Hello students, and I'm looking forward to starting our trip through the 1920s with you. First, we're going to cover Prohibition. If you remember, the progressive movement was when we first started talking about prohibiting the transport, sale, consumption, and manufacture of alcohol. And this was characterized under the temperance movement. Now take a couple seconds and think of some reasons for the support of the temperance movement. As you were thinking, you should have come up with violence, abuse, poverty, and negative things along that line. And that is how the temperance movement originally gained its support. And remember, it comes under the umbrella of the progressive movement. The 18th Amendment prohibited alcohol in 1920, and this era is called the era of Prohibition. Now, look at your note sheet and make sure you record what the 21st Amendment did. It repealed or got rid of the 18th Amendment. This made the manufacture, sale, transportation, and consumption of alcohol legal again in 1933. But the whole decade of the 1920s forbid consuming, making, transporting alcohol. So here's an image from Prohibition where men are pouring beer into the sewer as policemen and federal agents look on. Here's another raid on a lunchroom. All places had to get rid of any alcohol that they had. They weren't allowed to sell it anymore. They weren't allowed to produce it anymore. Companies that did make and produce it went out of business or continued to do so illegally. When Prohibition started, it had much popular support, but there were also many people who were against it. People still wanted to drink alcohol. So look at your notes and make sure you record the definition for speakeasies and bootleggers. A speakeasy is a club or a bar where illegal alcohol was served, and they were usually hidden behind a secret door in a building or in a basement, and their location would be moved often to avoid discovery by federal agents. Bootleggers were those who smuggled alcohol and promoted organized crime. Since transporting alcohol was illegal, bootleggers were the ones who transported it, and in the picture you see boxes of alcohol that was confiscated from a raid. Here are two former police officers hanging out in a speakeasy. Don't forget to pause this recording at any time you need in order to complete your notes, and feel free to rewind and rewatch as many times as you need. That's one of the benefits of doing this presentation. Yes, Prohibition was a constitutional amendment, which meant that it was a federal law. However, federal agents couldn't enforce it. There were too many people breaking the law, too many regular citizens going to speakeasies and buying and consuming alcohol, too many bootleggers driving alcohol across state lines, and they didn't have enough agents to enforce the law. They only had around 1,500 prohibition enforcement agents, and they couldn't be everywhere and track all of these people. They had other crimes to worry about as well. Since federal agents couldn't stop the consumption of alcohol and the sale of alcohol, organized crime grew a lot stronger. Bootleggers smuggled alcohol across state lines, and many crime bosses became famous, like Al Capone. There were many, many average citizens participating in illegal activities, since just going to a speakeasy could get you in trouble. As a result, the U.S. government realized that they could not tell people how to behave. They couldn't make a law about that, and Prohibition was an example of this. So in 1933, once the Great Depression started, Prohibition was repealed, making the sale, consumption, transportation, and manufacture of alcohol legal again. So all these companies and bars went back into business, and they no longer had to go in hiding, putting some organized crime bosses out of business as well. Thank you for joining us for this presentation on Prohibition. I'm going to show you a video about Al Capone in class on Monday, and make sure that you go back and rewatch as necessary to complete your notes, and don't forget to finish them and have them ready for the next class. Have a great weekend.